Well, and hopefully we can free Australia, the beta testing of the worldwide slave colony that the globalists are building.
Meet Alex Jones, far-right conspiracy theorist and peddler of wild disinformation.
The whole thing was fake.
Ranging from government-controlled weather...
They're messing with the weather.
...to Lady Gaga-led satanic takeovers.
It's being run by an ancient, powerful entity with super advanced intelligence.
And big gay bombs.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. I like to eat. I have some journalists that work for me, and I do journalistic work. My heart's big. Broken a lot of big stories. These psychopathic bastards did doctor up photos. But the reason there's so many gay people now is because it's a chemical warfare operation. I have the government documents.
He's banned from just about every kind of social media platform there is. But according to an elected member of our federal parliament, he's also...
one of those beacons that we have around the world.
Well, God bless you, sir.
Government backbencher George Christensen...
masks do not work.
...a guest on Alex's internet show, where he supported comments comparing Australia's COVID response to communist cover-ups.
This sounds like an Australian version of Tiananmen Square.
And even to the horrendous concentration camp, Auschwitz.
Why would you need these big fences and guard posts? It looks like something out of Auschwitz.
And agreeing with commentators who are comparing our quarantine facilities with that of Auschwitz goes a step too far.
It is flat out vile.
I go on the ABC all the time. It's a hotbed of fake news. Just because you go on a show doesn't mean you agree with everything.
But he didn't just go on the show. Christensen also urged the conspiracy theorist viewers to protest at Australian embassies around the world.
The rest of the free world, please stand with us. Every time we see people out there protesting, whether it be in front of an embassy or elsewhere, it really does embolden the patriots, the people who are for freedom in our country, to stand up.
Not for the first time, Christensen has been condemned by his own colleagues.
I watched the 36-minute show. It's 36 minutes of my life I'm not going to get back. He chose to condemn our country on the world stage, and for that, he should be condemned.
Also not for the first time, there aren't any real consequences.
George is at the extremities of much of what mainstream Australia thinks, but it's a view that should have an opportunity in any democratic society to be aired.
If he's going to continue this behaviour, he shouldn't be a member of the government.
Barnaby Joyce's truth bomb a few months ago during yet another George-related controversy, summing up the situation.
If you start prodding the bear, you're going to make the situation worse for us as a government. When you've got a thin margin, don't start giving reasons for a by-election.
But now that the bear has poked his head into the most frighteningly frenzied of the internet's dark corners...
God's going to destroy the earth next time by fire.
Is it time he was prodded out of Parliament?
Well, Nationals MP Darren Chester is a colleague of Christensen's who's also condemned his behaviour. Darren, we know the coalition is a broad church. We've heard that argument plenty of times before. But does this go beyond the pale?
It's frustrating as a member of the same party. It's disappointing. It lets us down as a team when we have someone who's an individual out there basically going rogue and making comments about conspiracy theories which no one else believes in. And it's actually undermining the broader effort across the parliament, across the Australian nation to try to unite Australia as we recover from the pandemic. So we have far more important things to focus on as members of parliament rather than appear on some conspiracy theorist, right-wing show in America and make a fool of yourself.
And Darren, all that's fair, but it feels like we've been here before with George Christensen. So the question is, what else does he need to say before your party actually does something about this?
Well, I'm not sure exactly what you expect us to do as members of parliament. These are questions really for the electors of that seat, and understand George indicated he's not running again, so they'll be taken out of their hands at the next election in any case. But as members of parliament, we're elected to represent our communities, and I know from my colleagues that I've spoken to today, they're annoyed about the way this takes away from their other efforts, the things they're trying to do on the ground in their communities. And every time we have someone like George going out making these sorts of comments, I come on your program, I have to try and make excuses for him. I'm not going to make excuses for him. He can speak for himself. He makes a deal with himself when he does it. And really, I don't know anyone else is out there even engaging in these conspiracy theories that he's promoting.
Like you said, Darren, he's not contesting the next election. So what's his end game here? I mean, George, is he just looking for attention to set up a post-politics career as the internet's, Aussie Alex Jones?
Well, I don't know. Look, it feels like we're playing into his game by getting on your program, even talking about him. I think it's all about creating some notoriety for himself and getting more followers on his own social media. I don't know why he thinks this is a good idea. It's not something that I've had a conversation with him about, but it's not helpful. It's not helpful because it actually sends messages to people that aren't true, and it gives comfort, I think, to some people who may have more extreme views that perhaps, it's okay to act in a way which is in some way unlawful here in Australia. He shouldn't be dog whistling like this. He shouldn't be making those sorts of comments. Our nation has been knocked around over the last couple of years. What we need right now is parliamentarians to unite, show some leadership, stick together and try and come up with policies that make a real difference and help people in their daily lives.
Will you be glad to see the back of him?
I won't miss him.
Darren, some days you must just shake your head at some of this carry-on.
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
It's bloody embarrassing, isn't it?
Well, I think I said that. It's been embarrassing and frustrating at times, but there are a lot of really good people in that room, in that Nationals Party room, people I call normal nationals, people who are passionate about the future of their communities. We're not always going to agree with each other, and that's fine, but we've got to be respectful about it, and we've also got to remember the fact that we're there for Australia. We're not there for ourselves. I mean, we're not there to, make ourselves look good or achieve some sort of notoriety on an American chat show and, cash in on the internet afterwards. Our job is to try and do great things for regional Australia. We're so lucky to live in this country. It's an extraordinary country, and the privilege of being a member of Parliament is something I'll never take for granted.
Darren Chester, thanks very much.
All the best, team.